Hello and welcome. This is Archangel. I have often found myself musing on whether or not there is a MGTOW gene or a MGTOW X factor within males, a certain predisposition to reject disposability indoctrination. I find the general lion's share of the male populace adheres to the devaluation thrust upon them without thinking twice. But we, the few awakened, how did we escape the brainwashing? Is there some yet-to-be-discovered impetus that predisposes us to red pill ingestion? Well, besides being mocked, belittled, devalued, treated ill, used, and then tossed aside? Obviously, MGTOW is a nurture response, meaning it is environmentally precipitated. So it would be quite a stretch to suggest that awakening to and rejecting male abuse is nature-driven in any way, or that there exists an actual gene that predisposes a male to reject injustice against them, because usurping male utility and consuming male life for female benefit is nature. So nature would not commission a certain segment of the male population to rally against procreation. That would be counter to species continuance, which is the only reason nature exists, to replicate genes into the future. But still, I find myself wondering what causes a male to awaken. What predisposes one male to recognize abuse thrust on him, while another male happily justifies his own abuse and even identifies with his abuser, or worships his slave master collective? What makes one male more susceptible to awakening than another? Are there environmental cues, or is there perhaps something else? An X factor that inhabits a certain few of the male population. Some recessive gene that increases sensitivity to injustice, whether of animals, or of the planet, or of males, through devaluation. Sounds silly, huh? Well, one thing is for sure. Awakened males ooze something that other males do not. Defiance. Okay, follow me here. So, one thing females excel at is sizing up males. They have to develop this male assessment sensitivity in order to efficiently pick out the best protectors and providers from their environment for ensured survival. Present-day females who have been generously steeped in gynocentric-inspired male devaluation indoctrination, they can simply glance at a male and sense whether that male is a compliant doormat or whether he is a wild stallion that needs taming. If he is domesticated already, that's cool. If he needs to be domesticated, then females have a slew of tactics to subdue and disarm males. They can demand equality, they can play on the fragility card and squeeze out a few tears, or they can flirt with the grunting man-ape, whichever option they think will best work on whoever they are trying to manipulate. Mainstream culture likes to imbue females with super magical powers and insights. Yet, I think the woman's intuition meme is played out. This is simply another way to bestow the divine feminine with super special fairy dust abilities and otherworldly knowledge that elevates them in worth and power over man-apes. Still, I think that females can sense males that are gynocentrically compliant and those who are still unruly. Many an awakened male has made the observation that females can sense if you are a simp or you are empowered and sovereign. And if you are empowered, most will not even approach you, though the hotter, more self-important chicks may still try, since they think they are irresistible to man-shovels. Anyhow, I sat one day wondering, is there something else in a male's makeup that causes one to awaken and another to remain heavily sedated under gynocentrism? And is there a predisposition to the degree of awakening a male is capable of? For example, most males will never awaken. A small few might awaken and go as far as purple pill status, and a very minute few might even be able to achieve red pill level. But is there something as yet unnamed that has a hand in determining the degree of understanding and even rejection of the human practice of male devaluation and disposability? Is rejecting injustice against males a genetic or instinctual inheritance? Or might the occurrence of awakening to male disposability be a higher consciousness function, or even a spiritual attribute, where we become aware of injustice on this planet and feel passion born deep in our soul to fight inequity? Well, on the query over genetics or instincts, I am inclined to respond with an enthusiastic maybe. Maybe fighting male injustice is a built-in inclination in the same way survival of oneself or of sexual preference is a born-in proclivity. Now, obviously, to come to a point of being red pill, a male has to have been party to or witness to blatant male abuse, and this drives a very prominent environmental factor in this equation. But again, is there some as yet unknown X factor that separates males, since all males are made to languish under the male devaluation indoctrination? What separates the blue pill male who justifies that abuse from the awakened male who proselytizes against it? That's curious. Well, let's go further. We have assumed so far that females pick up on some superhero MGTOW gene which repels them, but let's entertain an opposing argument. What if it's not something that they sense, but rather something that they do not sense in awakened males? Something that they can readily sense in blue pill males? Weakness. Okay, let's take physical looks and money or societal status off the table here. Now, why do certain boys, preteens, or teen and adult males get most of the female attention while others get nothing? Many a conventionally trained citizen will say that females can sense the assertiveness of an alpha within certain males, and naturally they flock to them, and thus the beta geeks get no attention. Well, until the stretched out road hard put up wet female with her fake nails and tricolored hair has eclipsed her sell-by date and comes looking for a chump to carry them settle down with, at which point these betas, who have been starved for female acknowledgement and attention for years on end, are more than happy to take on this used up mule with her money spending addiction and a face that has more paint on it than a Van Gogh canvas. Thus, another viable hypothesis is that it is not so much strength, but rather weakness a female may pick up on. I surmise that certain boys, certain teens, certain adult males get the lion's share of female attention because females sense a gynocentric weakness in them. That's right. Set aside all the psychological hypotheses and various conservative paradigms, and it may be that, in today's cultural atmosphere, what determines a male's success with the ladies is if a male broadcasts a female sympathetic weakness. And by success, I mean males that receive female attention as they lie with a needle stuck in their arm, donating time, energy, and life essence to those females. Alpha, beta, bookworm, bad boy, none of this matters. The only thing females care about is a male's utility, capability, how much money and protection he provides or has the future capacity to provide. This is all that matters to females, and so obviously females are drawn to those males that exude gynocentric sympathies, since they will roll over and deliver her utility without resistance. So I find it quite plausible that the popular boys or teens or males are those that advertise gynocentrism as their co-pilot in life. I find this a curiosity as I look and analyze life experiences and how they have led me here and hypothesize on what brings a very select few males to this point as well. It's obvious and easy to say that guys end up awakening after they have finally had enough abuse and predation, and this might be true, but still, I observe fortuitous attraction and repulsion between juvenile males and females long before gynocentrism, entitlement, and male devaluation takes hold in their psyche. For example, I was never liked by little girls, nor did I receive much attention from teens or adult females as I grew, my stripping adventures notwithstanding. So females really did not take to me at all. This is a curiosity, knowing that I am now a fierce warrior who opposes gynocentrism. Maybe in my younger days, females could somehow sense the seed of gynocentric opposition inside me, though I tried for many years to bow to the divine feminine like every other dude. Still, females might subconsciously have sensed that one day I would seek to overthrow their stranglehold over males. It seems that there must have been some X factor that I was transmitting that females sensed, and it displeased and repelled them. Moreover, my friends' girlfriends or wives have never liked me either. Gee, why is this? Females' sense of gynocentric weakness extends to all males, including a boyfriend or husband's friends. And if she senses the old man's friends as being a gynocentric combatant, then that is a direct threat to the spell she has the husband or boyfriend under. And she must dispatch the friends from hanging out with her husband. If a female senses a threat from a particular male, she will shun him and cause those males under her control to shun him also. It's not hard to understand that she wants to keep her power structure intact and growing. So inevitably, when a friend's lady sensed the seed of dissent in me, then he would suddenly become more and more distant until he finally pulls an MIA. That is, until she does him wrong, and then he comes looking for his friend once again. I hear this same sentiment from other awakened males. They were never really embraced by the female populace in general, and this has been a theme in their lives since they were very small children. Now, this also invokes the chicken or the egg argument. Are males awakened to gynocentrism because females ignored them, or did females ignore them because they were destined to be warriors against female interests, and females could sense the seeds of rebellion within them, and therefore females simply avoided these males throughout their lives? Well, both explanations can be successfully argued. Yet, having experienced this and giving it hindsight attention, I would say that the latter is more applicable. Females can sense gynocentric dissent within certain males, and thus they avoid these troublemakers, because otherwise females would not ignore any male no matter how ugly or unsightly or disruptive he may be, because she wants the opportunity for utility from all males, and a male she ignores or marginalizes is a male she may not be able to siphon utility from with flirtation or playing the weak damsel in need. Plus, any attention from anybody goes towards boosting female ego, and females lavish themselves with ego boosts. So, females do not want to ignore or estrange any male, because you never know what she can manipulate out of him when she needs. So, it would take something pretty repulsive to make females ignore specific males. And sensing a Vader within Anakin, yeah, this fits the observations I've made to a T. I have always wondered that since females have this ability to size up males and formulate which tactics to use on them to make them compliant doormats, and since even little boys are ostracized by little girls and adult women alike, even while these little boys are still innocent, blank canvases long before they have a chance to learn about male devaluation and to rail against it, this makes me hypothesize that there is something etheric, non-tangible, that females and their male servants pick up on, which offends their sensibilities and priorities of female elevation. It's kind of like they sense a MGTOW seed in certain males, which reminds me of the beginning of a certain song.
The head nurse spoke up, said leave this one alone. She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone.
What if there is a MGTOW seed, a MGTOW X factor that females can sense in certain males throughout the various stages of his life? What if I possess some unseen cue, like a pheromone, that causes female teachers, classmates, family members, neighbors, etc. to never really take a shine to me? And it is especially noticeable with friends as girlfriends or wives. And I find it noteworthy that I rebelled against religion, against society, against male abusive themes in mainstream pop culture. And simultaneously, the general gynocentric populace has never been at ease around me, and I have never received widespread approval. And now I am awakened and fervently seeking to awaken other males. Is this coincidence? Maybe there are many males that have emerging MGTOW traits that, when they manifest, they are suddenly labeled with ADD or ADHD or autism or some form of learning challenge in order to put these unruly males on all kinds of medication to neuter their rebellious spirit, while we escalate their gynocentric indoctrination. And when we say males have learning deficits, what is really meant is that there is an indoctrination impediment. The societal brainwashing has been unsuccessful thus far. In this case, unruly males are presenting resistance to their shovel programming. Now, obviously, in many cases, MGTOW is completely explainable by nurture, meaning reaction to hostile environment. I mean, you can watch the rise of the male rebel in direct correlation to the rise of feminism and the worship of the divine feminine starting in the 50s with such icons as James Dean. Then, throughout the years, we get hippies and males with long hair. Then tattoos become commonplace, along with piercings, and such rebellions to appearance and resistance to conformity continues to this day. Music is another reflection of reaction to increasingly toxic environments. The music males made spoke of increasing rebellion. For example, the electric guitar was nearly unheard of in the 40s and 50s. Then, in the later 60s, we get Black Sabbath, an increasing use of the electric guitar, which is a vibrational reflection of the internal turmoil that males felt. Then, such electric chords only got harder and more frenzied into the 80s and 90s, to today, where metal is so furious it blows car speakers. It may be a loose correlation, but as feminism advanced, and as male devaluation and usury became more and more venomous over the years, so too has metal become harder and faster to mirror males' internal strife. This observation is pretty self-explanatory, as is the rise of male suicide over the last half-century, as traditionalism and feminism have gone on, warring against one another, meanwhile creating a toxic wasteland of male worth and value in their wake. Anyhow, certain males awakening while most males slumber in happy slavery, this gives me pause to contemplate why. Why do certain males awaken while other males who have been done wrong by mothers, female friends, teachers, lovers, girlfriends, wives, society, etc., time after time after time, yet they still exalt and search for salvation through the feminine? Yes, you can say that MGTOW is a response to environment, but I can give you millions of examples where males have been brutally used and abused by females, and they are still happy slaves identifying with and protecting their slave masters. Hence, the nurture part of awakening only covers certain cases. So perhaps there is another factor at play that causes a male to go MGTOW. Furthermore, while contemplating such reasonings, I observe that females take to certain males and eschew others, which gives me pause to allow hypothesis to formulate. And thus I come to the conclusion that perhaps females are using an ability to sense gynocentric defiance, or a lack of gynocentric weakness in certain males, which tells her that she may not be able to easily exploit these males, and so she leaves that one alone. Whatever the reason, I have possessed something that females do not like. Sometimes it is subtle. Other times I can clear an entire store aisle of females. And I am happy to do my part to let females know that there are some males out there that they can't mess with. Awakened males who are completely out of their league. Now, of course, there are some females that think they are so hot that they can turn any male, and so the irreverent bad boy MGTOW may still get attention from females, because females like the challenge to domesticate a wild stallion. This inflates their ego that they did it, they broke this male, or that male, or every male that they have ever given attention to. Another plausibility might be that perhaps it's as simple as females read male body cues to decipher whether he is a friend or a foe, much like you read the ears or tail language of a strange dog before approaching it. So the pathetic masses of simps have their tongues out and their tails wagging, which cues females to approach them. Their body language is saying, I will roll over for you, and carry your heavy stuff, and open your doors, and pay your bills, and die for you if need be. while others, such as myself, we have our hackles raised and our ears perked like a Doberman's, which communicates, "Don't even try it, sister." Still, to observe that certain little boys are eschewed while others are greatly accepted and cooed over by females, this suggests that there may be some hidden factor, something unquantifiable in play here. So, whether I was born with it, or whether I was subjected to some freak radioactivity somewhere, or whether I was abducted by aliens and implanted, either way, I am a rare bird indeed, for I have this X factor that causes the female collective to pull their covers over their head at night and pray for deliverance. My friends, stand with me, live free.